I went viral about a few years ago because I had 9 kids.
I happen to be the pappy of those said kids. I call them I created players. Like you customize a person in a video game. I'm like, yeah, I did a good job with that one.
Aww. I'm Jeena.
Hey, I'm Drue.
And welcome back to Hey There Adulting, where people who can adult find a diverse, inclusive community to figure life out with. I'm so excited today because we have someone who I've been following for such a long time, and I've been waiting to meet her in person. We have Kora and Andre here today with us.
Yeah, welcome, guys.
Welcome. They have more kids than we do.
Yeah.
It's
not often. It's not often.
It's not often. We've only had one. Wait, how many kids do you have?
8.
8? Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. No, you are the person who had the most. Which in our friend group, we're always couple with the most kids.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay.
And we only have 5, and I know we don't have a lot. I feel like people think we have a lot of kids, but 5?
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 is a lot of kids.
5 is a lot.
I mean, 8 is probably a lot.
I mean, it's not as much as us, but no.
I mean, I know it's a lot, but it doesn't feel like a lot. But I guess too.
To me, 8 doesn't feel like a lot to me. So I get it. It's the more kids you have, it's like, oh, it's just another one.
Another one.
We were mentioning earlier, your oldest 3 are over 18.
Yeah.
And so that does make me jealous because I've been waiting for Panda to babysit. I've been waiting.
No, Panda's not going to be babysitting our kids.
Pay you $2 an hour
He's not
to babysit.
I'm not letting him babysit our kids. It would be havoc. No way. I'm not. Were you really thinking about Panda?
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Yeah, when he gets a little older.
How much older? 25?
14. And get him CPR certified and good to go.
I can't even go in the backyard and say, hey Panda, can you watch this? This is why I go in the backyard for a few minutes to go water the garden, and there's not havoc. You really think a couple hours they'll be good?
Good try.
We don't want CPS calling us. He's not watching.
Speaking of CPR certified, we have 2 that's CPR certified. So
yeah. No, we have 3.
3? Oh wow, we have 3.
See?
I didn't know.
But here's the thing. Here's the catch. It's only the girls.
Yeah.
See?
But that's because they always, they're always in the.
They're always with me, so they got
in the neighborhood groups saying, "Hey, I want a dog walk. I want a babysit."
Yeah, it's all 3 of them.
Yeah,
that's so. See, I love that because they're also always finding more opportunities to make work, and I think it's little moments like that when they're young that when you get older, you end up having a career out of something that most people are I didn't even know you could do that, and they're like, oh yeah, I thought I was already doing this, and I just thought I already loved doing it. I already have all the experience. Let me come up with something from that. So I love that.
What age did that start for you guys though?
What's that?
They were I want to babysit, I want a dog walk.
So my oldest daughter, who is now 21, she started babysitting when she was 17. Okay. And now she's a preschool teacher. So
okay.
It progressed.
Lines up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so the other ones, I think I didn't let them do anything until they were about 15.
Okay.
So,
but they were asking since they were 13,
12.
Okay. Because Panda's 11 and he's asking, and he talked to one of the neighbors the other day, I'll walk your dog for you. And they're like, sure thing.
My daughter's been dog sitting since she was 14.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now speaking of dog walking, Romany, she's our youngest daughter. She basically now she doesn't take care of, but
we have a neighbor that just loves.
They're the same height as her. She's in love with them. So.
Yeah, so she just goes over there and plays with them all the time. So
the owner is kind of not letting her jump right in with walking them, so she goes out with her.
Okay.
But sooner or later, she's going to be, having 2 reindeer.
2 Great Danes, walking next to her.
Just walking in the neighborhood.
Y'all need to get her some roller skates.
Because they're going to be pushing her around anyway.
But if she's able to handle the 2 Great Danes, she can handle any dog. Because those are very, not huge. Aggressive dogs, but they're very big and playful dogs that they just know what they want, and they will just
Exactly.
And they have the coolest names. It's Harley and Quinn. So, and one of them absolutely loves Romany. As soon as Romany gets there, she takes her paw. It's you're not going anywhere. Boom. Just put your paw
on her lap, and she's on the floor sitting with them. Yeah.
Oh, that's super sweet.
Yeah. It's adorable.
All right. So we would love for our audience, for you guys to introduce yourselves and then just tell a little bit about you guys and your family.
Okay.
I'll let you do all the introduction because I just went out.
Yeah, you'd be sitting here talking forever. Sorry. So my name is Kora. I am Miss Kora on all social channels. So I went viral about a few years ago because I had 9 kids. So since then, we've been growing a massive following. I've been with my husband for 24, 25 years now. So
That's amazing.
we are high school sweethearts. And yeah.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Andre, known as GQ Gemini online. I happen to be the pappy of those said kids. And I'm kind of funny, you know.
You're hilarious. I
I'm
feel
the
like you're very.
dancer.
I like how you said, like, I'm the pappy, like,
Yeah.
you know, I just happened upon this family, and here I am, like, you know.
Yeah.
So that's great. Well, that's amazing. And again, we're so excited to have you guys.
Thank you so much.
I saw you posted you were looking for some good food in Atlanta. Did y'all find any yet?
Not yet. Okay, so there's a certain food vlogger, well, food critique.
You can probably call him
Critic.
out. You can probably call him out. I don't think.
Yeah,
there's
so
any-
Keith Lee.
I love
so,
Keith Lee.
So
Yeah.
Keith Lee, he didn't leave Atlanta with a good taste in his mouth, and so I'm worried. I really want some, I want soul food. I want Southern food because I grew up I was born in Louisiana. I grew up in the South, and the further away you get from like the South, like no matter if it's northwest, north, south, northeast or west, the food loses certain seasonings or soul to it, no matter how much they try to replicate it. So it's like if you want a New York pizza, they don't have the same water that they have in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So,
You go to New York to get pizza, Philly to get,
so now that we're in the South, of course I'm on my fitness journey and everything,
But
but
in Atlanta.
just for this,
There's no fitness right
just for
here.
this trip, I'm going to be a big bag.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll go somewhere after this. We'll definitely go somewhere after this. So I would love to talk about how, like you said, you have 8 kids and 9.
I have 9. I had a daughter that passed away when she was 7 days old from SIDS.
Well, so we'll say 9. You have 9 kids.
Yes.
Because we've gone through that. We've lost a child before, and I still always think about it. I'm sure, like you do. So we'll say you have 9. Are you okay with that?
Of course, that's what I
100%.
always say.
We put 9, and then sometimes we put 8, and
It just all depends on the context of the
number
video.
one questions we get, like someone will always say, "Okay, your math isn't mathing. You said 8, but then you have 9. You said 9, but I only count 8."
Yeah.
And it's like,
My daughter, she was born.
I think
she's
some
the
of that
person,
could
she was
become from having a larger family. Like if you only have 1 or 2 kids, there's no thought process of like, could I forget their name? Could I lose them? Will I forget? Will they not get individual attention?
Yeah.
But once you get a larger family, I think a lot of people do worry, like, how do you give individualized attention to each child and stuff like that? So they're probably like, I wouldn't say it's so much of a nice question for you guys, probably like, or is it 8 or 9? They're probably trying to find something there.
I think it's
Yeah.
also just a lack of
Yeah.
awareness of the fact that some people, like a lot of women or people who give birth, go through like miscarriage, infertility, and I noticed when we went through our first, I kept thinking like, the people who have a lot of kids don't suffer from that. There's no way. And I had a friend of mine's who she has 7 kids. And then I had another friend of mine, she had 4. And they both said, no, we lost kids too. Like we've had miscarriages. And they're like, just don't like, and it feels hard right now while you're going through it. But like, don't look at like the end result because we're done having kids, right? And you're looking at our end result and you're like, oh, they must have never had miscarriages. They probably had fine. We were fine. But like, I think what it is when people are like 9, what do you mean 9?
Yeah.
It's because they're not fully thinking about it and they're being very, what's the word? It starts with a V.
Vindictive.
No, not vindictive. It's just like just not recognizing that there are other people who go through other paths.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
ignorant is not a V. They're just being very ignorant. I don't know why.
I was thinking the whole time, like,
I just feel like they're
Yeah.
ignorant to the fact that miscarriages and fertility and that, and I think that's really sad. And I'm glad that more people are talking about it, because I remember when I went through mine, I felt like nobody was talking about it. I felt like super alone. You're sitting there like, how do all people, like all these women having babies, and how are they continuing able to go on? Because I thought after our first, we would have been done. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to go through this. This is so hard. And I was looking at all the women who had big families, and like they could. There's no possible way that they could have gone through this, because there's no way that they could have gone through this and decided to have more kids. And that I was just blessed to have my friend who invited me to be in her room while she was having her kid. And I was like, this is why you go through it again, because of like this feeling and meeting that new baby. That makes it worth it. Like, it doesn't make it less hard, but it reminds you how worth it is. And I remember just thinking like, okay, I could do it again, but I just have to remind myself that it's going to be hard. So I want to say 9 because I know, like, technically we would have had 7. Like, I think about it, like, we would have had 7. And I try not to think about it too much because it's so hard.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, I would have had 11.
Really?
I've had 2 miscarriages and 1 baby that passed. So,
Wow.
yeah. So that's a lot of kids.
Wow. Oh, man. Well, I'm so sorry for your loss, Kora.
I'm sorry for yours, too.
And I'm over here thinking 11. Wow. And when I'm over here like, man, 9 isn't a lot, then I'm like, yeah, 2 more. That's a lot. Wait, really?
Dude, I don't know. It's hard because, like, I don't see, like, it's a lot, right? But then we also live in a day and age that, like, anyone who has, like, 3, they said that's a lot. So, like, the number is 1 or 2 that, like, 3 seems like a lot, but then I don't really feel like it's that much. And so it's always hard because I just know that I think what it is just like society says that's way too many.
Yeah.
But then when I'm in the thick of it, it doesn't really feel that much. We're putting the kids to bed. We're making dinner. It doesn't feel like that much.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
I don't know. It's like a normal for it just feels chaotic. Like having a family and young kids is just chaotic in general. Like,
I wouldn't know how to be.
Have you guys thought through your journey of like, wow, we have a lot of kids, or is it just like the norm? Like, is it a normal like chaos for you guys?
I mean, it's always been chaos. So it's always been chaos. I wouldn't know how to function without it.
I'm like that. Do you think that we're high, like cortisol high?
Yeah, of course. Yes, of course.
Are you guys
Addicted to
always
high
planning?
cortisol.
I know I have super high. I got a test. I actually got tested, and they're like,
They tested me for it. Too.
you have it too? Maybe that's what it is. If you want to have a big family, go get tested. If you have high cortisol, you're the perfect person to have a big family. Did you guys always plan, like, you wanted a big family, or was...
No, not at all. So initially I just wanted 2, a boy and a girl, and I got my boy and a girl, and then it just...
We even had that discussion. It was like, all right, I have a boy and I have a girl. We're done. And I'm like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, no, we weren't done.
No.
So then what changed? What flipped?
Well, I mean, birth control didn't work with me. It was just, it made me sick and stuff, and so I didn't take it. So we tried to not have as many kids, but, you know, it's just how it turned out.
There wasn't like nothing was planned. It was like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, all right, cool, you know.
So y'all didn't make effort like either way. Like you didn't make effort to have more kids. You didn't make effort like to prevent kids. Right?
I mean, we
just
tried to prevent kids, but
not if it made you sick
like,
and stuff
not
like
if I
that.
could take.
Like,
One thing that like never actually really hit me was, you know, people get like an existential crisis. Is like, man, how am I going to afford? You know, and I'm not knocking it whatsoever. It's a completely valid you know, frame of mind. It just never hit me. I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it. It's happening.
Yeah,
So-
no, we still have baby clothes from Panda. So we had the same mindset of like, oh my goodness, like, let's save all our clothes from the baby. So next baby we have, like, we don't have to buy, because it gets expensive. We don't have to buy more clothes. I think we've done that one time in the past 12 years. Go back and be like, oh, look, old clothes. Like, let's like, And so, like, it is a fear, but like, even for us, it hasn't been realized yet of like, we wouldn't be able to bring another child in because finances.
Yeah, I think in their early stages, I think finances maybe deterred how spaced out they were, but it was never like a determining factor of like, we can't have another kid. It was like, we can't have another kid right now. Let's prepare ourselves to do it later.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have like bigger gaps. But even right now, as we're thinking about whether or not we want to have another kid, finances is not a factor right now. And maybe it's just because we're finally settled. We're finally in a place that I feel like we're good.
Yeah.
We both have our work. We both have businesses. We're both bringing in income. And so, like, that's not a factor. I feel like there's other things, like our mental state, where we are in our marriage.
Energy levels.
The energy levels is, like, probably one of the one things because I feel so much more tired now. Like, I'm exhausted all the time. I'm having to take naps. We just did like a hormone panel. And in that hormone panel, it was just like, oh yeah, like you have like no testosterone and you're like insulin resistant and you have
Oh, you got everything I got. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm listening and I'm like, no, wait, that sounds very familiar.
And so I think those have been factors on whether or not I want to have another kid because I'm like, I don't want to have another child and not be healthy. Yeah. And so I'm trying to make sure that I'm in a better place before I try. But then I'm also thinking like, why do I keep trying to get myself in a better place to have another child? I do have 5 other kids. Why don't I just get myself in a better place just to be healthy and be a better mom for my kids than I currently have? And so I think that's like a lot of the reasons like or things that we have to think about before we have another kid if we want to add. I guess it would be if we want to add another kid to our family. And so it's just always it's like for you guys, you realize it wasn't finances. I'm like, I get it. It wasn't finances for us either. It's never been a determining factor of like, okay, we can't have another kid because we don't have enough money. I was like, okay, we can't have another kid right now. What do we have to do to make more money? Or what do we have to do to get us to a better place to be able to have another kid?
The crazy thing is, I'm going to tell you how go with the flow. Now, we're done having kids. Like once Tosh, turns 18 and he goes to college, I say this in multiple videos. We're going to travel. We have planes to catch. We're going to travel. So you said we would have had 11, right? So in my head now, I'm like, yeah, my 11 kids. I'm over here working in a frame of mind that it's 11 now, and I'm completely cool with it. Like, it's just. I don't know.
Do you think it takes like a certain mentality to have more kids and a bigger family and stuff?
Of course,
that you're just like,
just like it takes a mentality to go through life saying I'm not going to have any kids because my Saya, she is adamantly saying I'm not going to have a kid. I'm going to have 300 cats, and some pigeons. I don't want to deal with it. I see what you guys go through with us. So I don't want to go through that.
Yeah.
But she did say she's willing to change her mind if she finds the right person. So I'll look forward to a grandkid sooner or later.
Wait, she said that? Wow. Okay. See? Okay, she's privy to more things than me. Because, I'm fun, but I'm very matter of fact when it comes to parenting. She's more flexible. So she gets the inside scoops. I either get the
surface level,
the 6 months later in retrospect, or surface level. No, I don't even get that. I hear something. You know when you're a dad and you hear talk and you're like, who's Johnny?
Yeah.
Basically,
that's it. So, I don't even know where I was going with that.
Oh, man.
We've had a kid who said they didn't want kids. Badger. She said maybe
She's
one.
Not maybe. She's just not like, man, I got other stuff I want to do. Yeah, but she's like, I've got other goals, and that's not her aspirations right now.
But
Whereas
Tiger's
like, no, I want to be a mom.
Did you know what she already named her kids and everything?
Oh, what's the names?
And she said Emily and Lemon because she's like, I think it'd be cute to call him Lemony.
Oh,
I thought it was so adorable.
That is a bar. I love that. Yo.
Yeah, Romany said she wanted 6 kids.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's like, I wanted 6 kids and I don't want to live in America.
And we have Courtney, our other co-host. She comes from a big family. And I feel like I feel like when you come from a big family, you have one or the other. You either want a lot of kids because you Like, or like, I love this chaos, or you want 0 kids because you're like, I'm not having this when I grow up.
Yeah.
Are y'all's kids like the same way where you have like,
Yeah.
you know, all or nothing kind of feels?
Yeah, I mean, with the girls, yeah. The boys, I don't even know.
I know some of my boys did say they wanted multiple kids.
Okay.
I know definitely Zahn.
Zahn said he wanted a few kids. He said, I'm not allowed to watch them. I was like,
What?
yeah. I don't know. He
That
said, I'm
sounds
not
like
allowed
Panda.
to. I'm not
sounds
allowed
like-
to be, you know, the typical grandmother. I was like,
Oh wait, are you gonna be the type of grandma who just be like, let's do mischief together with your grandkids?
probably.
Okay. Because I told my kids purposely, like every single time you drive me coconuts, like I'm not gonna be the mom to spank you. I'm not gonna be the mom to yell at you or belittle you. I'm gonna be the mom that's gonna write it in my little journal, all the things that you do, and then for every single time you do something crazy, I'm gonna do something crazy with my grandbaby. We're gonna buy all the stuff at Disney. We're gonna buy all the candy. I'm gonna do all, like I've told him, and one time he got in trouble and he's like, this is another like toy like at Disney. I was like, uh-huh. Like he's like, you're gonna like, this is another like trip to Disney or whatever. And he just knows like I'm gonna do mischief with my grandkids. If you give me grandkids, we're about to be like good cop, bad cop, whatever. We're gonna be together. We're gonna do all this stuff. So maybe that's the reason. I don't know. That's at least what I think with my kids.
Be. I mean, I'm pretty sure he changed his mind, but he did say that when he was a teenager.
Aw.
So
Was that the time when he was like beefing with
Yeah, he was beefing with everybody.
like Zahn is amazing. You're gonna watch this, Zahn. You're amazing now.
We love
like,
you.
Super amazing. But there was a point in time where it was like, bro, what's wrong? It was like Batman. You know how Batman
But he did
roots, but there
tell
was no
me-
criminals to take it out on. So
He did tell me there was a point where he didn't know. Even Sheena, she didn't know why she was moody. It was just
teenage angst.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just something. They were like, I don't know why I didn't talk to you. I'm like, okay.
They can't help it.
Yeah,
They
it's
really
We're
cannot
like
help
we
it.
are like edging into that territory. We are so like on the borderline and close to that. Like even now this morning, Tiger was just like on something where she's just like going after her brothers and sisters. And I was like, "What is wrong, Tiger? Like what's going on?" And she's like, "I don't know if I want to put my bathing suit on now and close over, or wear my clothes and take my bathing suit with me. It's just too much. I don't know." And I'm like, I was like, just pick one. And she's like, I can't. And I'm like, all right, I'll give you 10 seconds and I'll pick for you. She's like, okay. And like, she just sat there like this till I picked. And I was like, just wear your bathing suit and close over. She's like, okay. And she went off. And I was just like, I was like, okay. Like 5-10 minutes. I was like, why were you so upset? What's going on? She's like, I don't know. I just was. I was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
We ended
There
up
we
having
go.
her sit down on the couch and do some meditation too. And so I could see her like being so frustrated at the fact that I don't want to do meditation. And then finally she's like, and then you see her smile. I feel better. And so it's going to be fun because Tiger, I don't know, not only Badger, she, since she was 2,
Yeah.
has been like the kid who's just like very angsty, very like old soul vibe. So it's gonna be fun the next couple of years. It's you know.
Any
Yeah.
tips y'all have for teenagers?
Don't take it personally.
Yeah. Don't take it
I
personally.
like that.
Like, do not take it like they're gonna take it personally. Like no matter what you do, you can say yes, and they'll be like, oh, they're gonna take it personally. The thing is, it's like I was just thinking about it when you were explaining how you resolved that conflict. It's like, man, if I was to go back, I wouldn't take things personally. Like it's not always me. They will say it is at the point. You know, it's you. You don't understand me. You suck. Why do you wear your shoes like that? Like, you know. And I would take it personally.
He always took it personally. I would tell him, stop. It's
Yeah.
not you. It's
Me.
literally them.
I'll take it personally.
I'm
I'm
like-
like, just calm down. You're fine. Just ignore them.
I'm
Just
like,
move on.
like just because they see me now, they don't know who I was in high school. It's like you want to go, but now you know.
Yeah.
I would, you know, I don't know what else I would do, but I would know first things first. I wouldn't take it personally, and then go from there. They don't want to act like that. They're going to go
I
into
agree
their
with
room
you.
and they're going to be like, what is wrong with me? And then they're gonna come out, you suck, and then go back in their room. But Romany, well, no, she hasn't hit that age yet.
She is
Let me
only
see.
14.
Okay, so Elijah,
Well,
he
she's not
just
even 14
brooded.
yet. Yeah.
He was a brood. Like he's super competitive athlete. Brood. I mean, he didn't really give us like behavioral problems or staying out or sneaking out or anything like that. He was just I want to play football. I gotta make sure I make it to the NFL. Just he has no time for girls because football is life.
Super
Focused.
Yeah, super focused. Sheena, love you, Sheena. I'm gonna just say that. Love you.
We had a hard time with
Yeah.
her teenage years were rough.
Yeah.
Sneaking out the house, all kind of stuff. But
Those two went a minute without talking to each other, right? So Sheena would come up to me, she would run up to me, crying, give me a hug, right? And then she would say, to be. And let me tell you what this means. Too bad, too bad. She wanted to move out. She's like, you come with me.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. She would be like, to be. And I'm like, yeah, no.
My heart's there, but
And then
I've been committed in this for 20 years. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We gotta keep rolling here.
But you know what I like? I like the fact that they still had one parent that they were able to go to no matter what. So like for her, that was you. And like you never, at least for me, I'm hoping that each of our kids are able to go to one of us. If they have a big problem or going through big changes, that they could still be like, Mom, I need to talk to you and not feel bad. Or maybe it's not me and I'm not going to get my feeling. Like I already feel like I can see which kids would rather go to you for certain things. Or maybe the topic, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I just want them to have one of us that they trust enough to go to get help, to get resources, to get whatever, or just to have like a lending, or was it lending ear? Is that the right phrase? I just want them to have that, because nothing is worse to be a teenager and feel like you have no one, and then feel like you have to go through it alone. So even if it's like, if they end up hating me and wanted to like dance a favorite and say the same thing, like to be, I'm so cool with it, because as long as it's with one of us, that I know like we will care for them in the way that they need to be. And so I love that she was able, even if she wasn't like, I know it sucks. Like when my kids are like, I hate you, or they want to talk to me, it stinks. But like, I love the fact that she was able to still have that in one parent and have like build that relationship. And so I love that. How are you guys able to foster like individual relationships with each of them with having such a big family?
she's better at that than me.
yeah, I mean, as far as the girls go, they always want to go to the store with me. Like, consistently go to the store. As far as the boys, it's just when I'm dropping them off, picking them up. Like overall, if wherever I am, all my kids congregate, and he hates that. It's like, so
She'll get up. They'll get up. No. Here's the thing. Okay, so I'll be in the room. I'll be watching football or something all day, all Sunday, watching football. No one bothers me. She's like not home or something. The second she comes home, she walks in the room. There's a line. Everybody just comes in, sits down, boom. I'm like, yo, I was here this whole time. None of you came in the room. And then like now they're all sitting down, blah, 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 just congregating. And I'm like, it's 4th and 10. Shh.
But yeah, it's normally just, whenever I take them to their all their sporting events and stuff like that. It's just, we always have individual time. It might not be going out and doing stuff because we are a large family, but everybody knows they're loved because they're always around me. So we try to.
See, me, myself, I'm a big gamer. So my sons and Romany, like, we all play VR games together, or we'll play, the Xbox, we'll be in Xbox parties and stuff like that. Just me when I'm at my happiest outside of being, with my wife and making and experiencing things with my family, I'm at my happiest when I'm gaming with my kids, or I'm standing in the stadium, I'm on the sidelines of a football game and I look like I'm completely mad, but I'm just proud the whole time. But, we love to game. We have a gaming culture in the house. So, that's how I spend time with the kids. It's not Sometimes it's individual, but my favorite time is when we're all playing together. So
you're finding ways of like things that you already like and that they like, and you guys are doing it together. I like that. And then you going shopping with them is just like, that's something I have to do.
Yeah, my girls just love going shopping. It's just, I don't know. I think it's a girl thing. Because, like, Sheena, like, you know, when she's not home, it's like the other one's like, wait, don't leave without me. I'm like, okay, here we go again.
Okay, so I'm sorry to cut you off. No. There's this, it's not a meme now. It's basically a reel. It's like, you are now promoted. You are my So whenever Sheena's gone, like
the other two.
either Saya or Romani will end up tagging along with her. And then I'm like, you really should make that like a reel or something, like where you're doing the song. Like Sheena's going, and then like you turn and you look at one of the girls and you're like, you are now promoted.
You are now one of my elite employees.
Isn't this a smile? Like,
I think that's why it's so good, because it connects with real life stuff.
So a lot of our content, you know, it's not random. It's off of, you know, actual life experiences. There's one where she's trying to drag me out the door and I'm jumping around and I'm like, I don't want to go. That literally happened like 3 days before. So, but anyways.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places, like, I don't like going to IKEA with you. You want to know why? Do you know why? It's because you want to look at everything. I just want to go in and like buy the stuff.
I want to see all the rooms are set up. It's like,
No. I like going in like to go get the food, but going in like some places I just don't like to go with Drew, because Drew just be doing too much.
it's because we like different. Like when I go to IKEA, I like seeing all the setups. Like I'm in 100 different houses in one day. I just like envision myself like chilling on that bunk bed and playing video games. Or, like, and I'll do that with every single setup. I'll be like, wow, this kitchen's really nice. And Gina's like, you never live in a log cabin. I was like, yeah, but look how nice this log cabin looks.
Like that's what I want to do. Like when you have those little tiny homes at like Lowe's and Home Depot. We're like, so this is what it's like.
That's where we're going on our next date. We're gonna go check out tiny homes. There we go.
Why are you giving him more ideas?
I like this. Thank you. Yeah, y'all need to come down more often.
Do you feel like it's like different parenting like children than adults? I mean, obviously I know that it's different, but what are the ways that you feel like it's different? Because I want to hear the positive and negative, but I feel like it's going to be more positive. Because there's going to be, I don't know, like when each time as my kids have gotten older, I've missed when they're little, and I miss the baby phase or whatever phase they were at before, but I also enjoyed the independence of each of them as they've gotten older. So I'd love to hear from you guys, what is it, how is it different from parenting your younger kids, and like the pros and cons from like parenting your adult children?
I would say I do miss when my kids were younger, the little excitement from just little random things and just their baby talk before their voice changes. They were very dependent on you for like everything. And I do miss that sometimes, but then when they get older, they're very independent, and it's like they're so opinionated. You can't tell them what to do without them arguing with you. So, I mean, I love their independence now. They have their very own personalities. It's just like, you're in awe looking at them, just like, wow, you know, you're this human that could like think for yourself.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I call them our created players. You know, like you customize a person in a video game. I'm like, yeah, I did a good job with that one.
I know you guys have done a really good, I told you, I stalk you a bunch. You have done such a great job with each of your kids, because all of your kids, I can tell in the video, they like hanging out with you.
Yeah.
Like that video when you were dancing for the first time in a video, and they were so excited. Like it wasn't like any of the kids, they weren't just standing like, oh, I can't believe I'm here. They were all like cameras and like the light, and they're like, my mom's dancing in. Like she never did this. Like in all the videos, they genuinely like to be around you guys. They're joking around. I feel like they're their true selves. They don't have to put up this facade.
Yeah.
And like, at least for me, growing up in a household, like I had a mom who just like, I don't feel like knew me at all.
Yeah.
I don't think she knew me. I don't think she knew a lot of like little stuff. And so to see that, I like it, because in a big family, you can get lost in the sauce. A kid could feel like they're being left out. And obviously I'm not your kid, so
Yeah.
there may be a kid who'd be like, oh, I could tell like my mom like loves me, my parents love me, but I don't feel like they know me that well. I don't know, but to me, what I see, it seems like they do. They seem like to hang out with you. They seemed like very loved. I don't know, everything about it. I feel like a lot of love in the videos that I see.
I mean, I feel like that's true. I mean, my kids haven't told me otherwise. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, they each know that I love them and that I accept them for who they are. If they want to tell me something, they can. If not, then they don't have to. So one thing that I wanted to make sure my kids knew is that I accept them for who they are. I love them unconditionally, and that there's nothing they can do that could like literally break my trust for them. So that's something that I didn't get as a kid. So it was very important to me.
I feel like we've had, like, I know you mentioned this on, I think, like, on one of my reels. We both have, like, a bit of, like, a strange relationship with our parents.
Yeah.
And I feel like how we grew up really, I'm sure, maybe, I don't want to speak for you, but how do you feel like how we grew up in our household of having parents that we're now as adults estranged from has made you a different parent?
Yeah.
And like how you parent, because I'm like that. I tell my kids all the time, there's literally nothing you could tell me that would make me not want to talk to you. There's no one who you could marry. I mean, even like I've even told my kids, like, you could choose not to have grandkids or give me grandkids. Oh, I mean, they're not gonna be mine. I mean, but I told them, like,
foreshadowing.
I know.
Yeah.
I've told them, like, look, you could choose 0 kids, and even though I really would like for you to have kids, that's your life, that's your choice. I'm not going to make that choice for you. That's not going to make me see you different.
Yeah.
You can choose not to get married, and that's not going to make me see you different. There's absolutely nothing that my kids could do that would make me not want to be their mom.
Yeah.
I love them for who they are. I try not to put expectations on them. I try not to envision too much for them because I don't want to ever make them feel like they're letting me down.
Yeah.
And so
I think you don't have expectations for them to do a specific thing, but I think you do a good job at setting expectations in general for them of like, making sure they put their all into it, make sure they're being true to themselves. Like, and I was just thinking through because I was like thinking of my own upbringing and stuff like that, and expectations I did or didn't have, or time I spent with my family or didn't spend with my family. And I didn't want the viewers to think like you have no expectations for the kids. Like they're okay to live in the basement for 60 years, not get married, you know. And so I felt it was a little disservice if people were thinking that way, because you do have really high expectation of the kids. But I think the way that you come across to the kids is a very genuine way of like, be yourself, put everything you have into it. The times I'm going to get mad is when I can see that you're not putting your all in and you could succeed at something, but you're not, just because in some sense you're just being lazy. That's when I'm going to be like, like, that's not who we are. Let's do a little more. You need help with that? I'm willing to get in there and even help you with it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I do have like those expectations, like just wanting them to be happy, to do something that they love, hopefully make money out of something they love doing. But I also just like, there's been specific things, like one of my kids, like, if I went to jail, will you still love me? I'm like, yeah, I will still love you. If like, we've even talked about like, hoping that none of our kids would ever have to come out to us, because I would be like, why would you ever need to come out to us? I want you to feel like you're yourself. And so I hope that I'm the type of mom who already would know that, or you already know that I know that. And it's just like, hey mom, here's the person that I'm dating. Like, I don't want, like, I truly just feel like there's pretty much nothing that my kids could do that would make me say, I don't want to be in your life anymore. I don't want to be your mom. I'm cutting you out, because there's nothing that my kids could do. I want to be a part of their lives. I want to be a mom to them. I don't think mom stops at the age of 18. I feel like they're going to stop being so dependent on me, but I hope that they'll call me and annoy me. Like, I love the fact that you said, oh yeah, they've been texting me this whole time. Like, I'm jealous. Like, we gave our oldest his first phone, and he started texting me a bunch of emojis and texting me and pranking me, and I was so excited.
Does he call you bruh? Yeah.
Not yet.
His friends are bruh.
Not yet. I know it's coming.
Yeah. He's starting to transition into we're not as cool.
Oh yeah. We lost that a long time ago.
As cool. So.
We lost it. You still think we're still cool in his eyes?
I am, yeah.
Oh.
You're not, but I am.
Speaking of that, you mind if I circle back to like the difference between parenting little kids?
Yes, please.
So when they're little kids, right? You're kind of a superhero. You know, you're the end all be all. So you'll be like, hey, buddy, you want to go mow the lawn with me? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I want to mow the lawn. You know, it's like, wow, right? Or if you tell them something or you give them some advice, they're like, that's what it is, you know? So when they get, you know, now that when they're young adults, you know, 17, 18, 22, you realize that they have their own experiences now. So when you give them some advice, they're like, why though? You know, they're like, how'd you come to that conclusion? And I'm like,
Now it's all a sophisticated conversation.
just trust me, man. Like, I'm not trying to lead you in the wrong path. I've been where you've been. So, you know, it goes from you being the end all be all, the source, to now they have their own experiences, and you have to also understand that you have to respect their experiences as well. And that I didn't listen to my dad when my dad would tell me something. I'm like, old man. And now, you know, I'm the old man, and now I'm realizing I might just have to let you go through that, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm still going to be there for you, but you're going to have to experience why that person might not be the best person for you. Yeah. So, yeah. It's like, who's he talking about?
And that's gonna be so hard for me.
Yeah.
Like, I think Jeena will do a better job than I will, but that'll be so hard if they like bring somebody home or dating somebody that I just like know that like that's not a good fit, or I'm gonna be vocal. Yeah. Like, I won't be able to help myself to be like, Bandit, come here. Like, you know, let's talk about this. And he's probably be like, which is probably when he's gonna go to Jeena and have like that one-on-one and stop talking to me, you know. But that's gonna be so hard for me when I get to that point to have to be like,
if there's a other half that I'm like, you could do better, I will say it. I'm vocal to my kids about it, and they know that. I'm like, you know, this isn't fitting right, and I'll say it in a respectful way. It's not like I'm like, cut them off,
because we're not.
Yeah, we're not like that. It's just I want what's best for the kids. So I'm gonna be vocal about it, whether I like them or not.
And not just in relationships. It's like,
in life, you could do better.
When you're
try to be better. You know,
like, this is why you don't want to race the guy that's next to you revving his engine. He's like, but he did it 3 times. I'm gonna be a, you know,
it's like a dare. Like, you have to do the dare. Like,
yeah, you know. So I'm not just talking about relationships. I'm just talking about, you know.
Yeah.
It's like,
so I always try to
you start to realize you're not that figure anymore. You're still their parent. They still respect you, but at the same time, they're their own person now. So yeah.
I think it's just learning that it's all part of development and becoming the adult that they are. And that's what, at least, I know it's hard for you, but whenever the kids are doing something like, like they shouldn't be doing that, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, but isn't that part of like childhood development, like becoming the person that, if it is, as much as it sucks, I'm like, I can't get onto them for doing something that they should be doing at that age. They should be curious. They should be doing, like, they should be sometimes making bad choices, because those bad choices makes them maybe appreciate or realize the good choice. And I know it's hard for you because you want to jump in, and like, especially like we have a kid who likes to throw temper tantrums a lot. And when they were really young, Drew would want to immediately fix it, stop. And I'm like, no, let them be. Eventually they'll realize how much energy it takes to be that angry. Eventually they'll realize that they're able to get even more, or able to like eventually they start coming to me and talking to me. I'm angry about this, and started having less temper tantrums. But when they had their temper tantrums, they never got what they wanted. But going through that made them realize, oh, I can't get what I want when like I do it. But if I'm able to talk to mom, express my emotions, and then tell her what I do need, I'm for sure gonna get what I want. And so what do we see in that child? We see way less temper tantrums. And so it sucks being that parent, allowing them to throw the temper tantrum. Because I have been in the middle of a cruise on the top deck, and my kids throwing themselves, and I had a mom, and she's like, you're doing a great job. And I just sat there and allow my children to yell. And she yelled that was like probably the last temper tantrum.
Because it just something in me just like, I'm gonna throw them over my shoulder and let's go. Like, let's get out of here.
I fully hear what you're saying, and I completely understand it. And I'm working on that as well. But I'm like Medea, you know. It's like what you doing? It's like,
is it helping?
I try to cut it out, but at the same time, I do need to. What's the word? I do need to. I like what you're saying, because if we cut it, like if I cut it right then and there, it's like we don't get to the source of. We can't even have like a talk on like what did you learn going through that, like what did you feel going through that, because I'm still
That's
pretty
hard.
much.
It's hard for me. Don't sweat it, because like they need to feel those emotions and go through those emotions and experience that and learn to deal with it. But for me, like some of it is just seeing your kid in a state that's not happy.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, let me switch them back to happy. Like this is really easy. Like, and that's not like.
Yeah, I grew up in.
It's not healthy for them.
Yeah, I grew up in a Caribbean household.
Me too.
Know? So cut the stupidness, you know. So cut your tail.
Yeah.
So it's
Southern. It's like you don't cry. Like, babies cry. Like don't cry.
Haitian.
Oh.
I got a lot of spankings. I got a lot of kneel in the rice. I got a lot of switches. You go pick out your switch. You about to get a spanking kind of thing. I understand. So that's probably one of the reasons why I am. So it's okay. Feel your feelings.
Now, before I say this, my dad is probably the best person I know in this planet. You know, he's the nicest person I know, but he's the one who kicks my butt the most too. So one day, I want to say I was probably 17 or 18. I was in my room. Once again, my frontal lobe wasn't fully developed. I don't know. something was happening. And then my dad just bust in the room. Man, what's wrong with you? I'm like, my little brother makes fun of me to this day. I looked at my dad, straight in his eyes. I'm like, you never told me you loved me. My dad looked at me, turned to, closed the door. And then my little brother was like, you never told me you loved me.
I should have laughed. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't laugh.
And then I'm sitting in the room afterwards, just like, why did I? I'm crying. I'm sorry. I don't know. I must be hurt because I was literally embarrassed. I was like, why did I do that?
And then your little brother was there to witness.
There's things he always brings up. And
that's one of them.
If I text him and I'll be like, ha, he's a huge. Okay, we grew up in Houston. We moved from Louisiana. I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. He's a Houston Texans fan. And I'll write him something. If I write him something, ha, Texans suck, he'll be like, why didn't you tell me you love me?
But that's something that comes from large families too, is that interaction with your siblings and
I actually have my mom, how many of there are? There's probably 10 or 11 of us.
Yeah.
But from different marriages and then came together. So I have a large family, but I mostly spent time with my little brother. My brothers and sisters, they were either in Trinidad or New York, or then they started to trickle down to Texas because my dad is like the patriarch of the family. So there's you know what? The closer we are to him, the better life is. So everybody started trickling down. Watch, they're gonna watch it and be like, "That's what you think, boy? I came to Houston to take Dad's money? No, no. It just sounds wrong.
No, it sounds right.
Yeah.
A lot of people move closer to family because it
Yeah.
feels better. It's just naturally people do that.
Your dad's that type of person.
Yeah.
And he encourages it too.
Oh, he
Francine
does.
encourages it. You're my family. I have a room here. Come stay here. When
It's very Caribbean
when you
culture.
and I first got married, we're newlyweds and all that, and I'm feeling good about myself. And I talked to Francine, and he's like, "Look, Drew, I like you, but my daughter, this is her home.
I can hear the
And
accent. I can hear
she
the accent
always
already.
has a home here. You do something wrong to her, she's coming back here. You treat her right." I was like, okay, I gotcha. So I mean, it's encouraged too, as the patriarch of and maybe that's a Caribbean thing. You tell me, or a cultural thing of no, this is not only my home, but this is my family's home. Who's my family? All of you. So come live with us.
Yeah, my dad, he surround. Okay, here's the thing. He works offshore, but he makes sure everyone is taken care of at the house. So he's on the boat still. He's 81 now.
Wow.
He won't go home because he gets to go to Brazil, Trinidad. Like he's
living his
on the
best
boat.
life. He's getting paid to live his best life.
Playing Flight Simulator the entire time he's on the boat. And then he tells me about, I just bought a new Denali. It drives by itself. $90,000. I'm like, Dad, you don't even drive it.
You're right. It drives itself.
So your family is from Trinidad, right?
Yeah, Trinidad
And
Tobago.
I'm sorry. Oh my God. You're right. Trinidad and Tobago. And then your family your cultural, ethnically? You're right?
Ethnicity. I'm Indian, yes.
Yeah, Indian.
So my family is from India.
And so like y'all are like a multicultural family.
Yeah.
I feel like, because Drew's white, Southern, and I'm Haitian.
Surprise.
How has that influenced your parenting? How's that influenced like your relationship? Like, can you guys tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there was a lot of similarities because even though I'm Indian, my stepmother was Guyanese. So a lot of Caribbean culture right there. So there was I pretty much knew his culture because of how I grew up with my Guyanese stepmother. So it was, we got along perfectly there. Now I do have my Indian side, which is from my dad. And there was a lot of strictness and a lot of, I can't do this, I can't do that. Oh, I definitely can't date you, things like that growing up. So that was definitely where we clashed, but he understood it. So, yeah.
Speaking of her stepmom, the very first time I even heard her talk, right? I answered the phone. It's like, can I speak to Kora? And I'm like, where's my family? Okay, yeah, no problem. Here you go. And then she gets on the phone and starts talking. She was like, I'm like, who is that? I'm like, is that my sister? She's like, that's my stepmom. I'm like, what? Oh, and that's when it I realized, oh, she's West Indian too. So, West Indian, like Trinidad, yeah, and Guyana, even though Guyana's South America. We still love you though. You're in South America.
I know it's in South America. I see it.
But it's Caribbean.
I know it. But I feel like I would count it as a Caribbean. I get it. People are gonna come for me in the comments, whatever. But like they have a very Caribbean culture.
Yeah, they do.
So I get it. They're part of the South America, but are they really?
I mean, we listen to the same music. We listen to soca. We listen to calypso. I mean, shoot, I even listen. I like chutney music. It's kind of like it's Indian inspired. I mean, soca is too, but it's more so African. But yeah, I honestly feel like Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago could have just been one country, to be honest with you. Because it's almost the same. Don't come for me. I'm not saying
There's a little differences.
Yeah.
So did you guys ever have your cultures clash where like either you as parents had different point of views that you had to work through, or from you to the parent had to work through? And so like I'll give an example from Jeena and I is we had a boy and girl first. Perfect family. And we went to your uncle he was out here in Georgia somewhere.
Tonto Edwidge.
Tonto Edwidge. And the comment I got there the most was, oh, you have a boy, you have a girl. Oh, so you're done. You have the perfect family. You're done. So like Gina's family expected us for all intents to be done at 2 kids. And that's just like, we didn't go much more into conversation with them about it after that. But like, we definitely got the impression from them that like, this is it. You got a boy, you got a girl. Like we would have stopped at boy, but that's okay. You got a boy, girl, like you're done. So have you guys had that?
I actually had her mom tell me that.
Really?
It was like, okay, you have a boy, you have a girl. No more kids, Andre. No more, you're done. Okay? You're done. And I'm like, okay, I mean, all right. It's like she saw the future or something. She came back, she's like, you're done. But so, I mean, we did have that, but as far as culture class, she got raised by a West Indian, if you think about it. So the first thing we ate together was curry chicken. Okay, was curry chicken.
I mean, he made it, so
that I made. I made it. The Trini way. How my sister taught me. So she knew what everything. Everything was pretty much the same.
Now, as far as raising the kids, I was already not really estranged from my parents, but once I got pregnant, that's where the entire clash started with my parents. So I kind of already pushed myself, out from under all of that.
It kind of started before then, because remember your little sister would tell me things like,
I mean, there was a lot of
pre stuff. I got you.
I got a job, one of the only not sales jobs, working offshore. So her mom found out that I'm going to work offshore, and I'm like, I'm going to work offshore. I'm going to make money.
You're proud. You're ready to go. Yeah.
See, my dad, he's worked offshore since the 60s. That's his thing.
Okay.
So you know it really well.
Yeah, so I know it really well, and I know it's not for me. So, no, but the thing is, I have no problem doing the work whatsoever. You need me to pick something up and put it down? I got you. So, she found out that I had a job offshore, and her little sister came up to me. She's like, "Hey, Andre, you got a job offshore. My mommy said you're going to die in the water." And she was happy. And I'm like, I know that's morbid, I'm sorry, but it's the things that I would hear, And I would be like, oh, okay. And I would still try to be nice to her. But she's the one who put her foot down and was like, And I'm like, okay, you're right. I got to stop being nice to people who weren't nice to me. So, it started before, but it really ramped up after.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever you start having kids, because that's when it ramped up for me. It was like after I was pregnant with I saw it with my second, right? I started seeing stuff. Like I knew it beforehand. I noticed a lot of the little stuff. But once you start having your own kids, then you're kind of like, I don't want my kids to have to deal with what I had to deal with.
Yeah.
And so it was with my third kid, I started telling Joe, like, I'm trying for the kids because I really wanted them to have like that relationship with family. Like it sucks whenever I have to think about like we just went to a wedding and I realized how much family members were at this wedding, and I was like, oh, my kids are not gonna get that from my side of the family. Like they'll have my cousins who I'm still close with, but they won't have that from they won't have my mom there, won't have my sister there, and so it's really hard. But having my own kids is what made me realize like I don't want this anymore, and so I had to put same thing. I had to put my foot down. Like I don't want this. Why would I want this? I know how much it sucked for me. Why am I gonna do that to my own kids?
Exactly.
And so even when my mom reached out to me and was like, hey, well, she didn't even reach out to me. My mom reached out to my dad to reach out to me. And I was like, no, I'm good. Thanks.
That's my mom to my sister.
Oh, yeah, it is your mom to your sister. Now, I will say this. In her older age, she's gotten better. And I said this recently, like in our latest video, that, she has told me, I want to say about maybe a year and a half ago, that she kind of apologized to me for how she was acting, and said, but it's kind of like a
backhanded apology.
It was like, you stayed with her. That's good. It was like, and then she's like, can you get me a house?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm over here like, you know what? Yeah, I can help you get a house. I'll help you. And
like it's so horrible to be with Kora. Like, what?
And then she's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Those relationships are hard. I'm going to pivot a little bit to, I never thought a lot about having a family or kids or anything like that growing up. And I don't know if that was the guy part of me, because I know Jeena, like, we've talked about this before, where like you had thought through like what kind of wedding you would want to have and stuff like that.
I didn't think too much of a wedding. Family wise, like marriage wise, yes, but not wedding.
Oh, I'm bad. I just thought you had, but I didn't think through like how big my family would be, how many kids I would have, or anything like that. I just kind of put it all off because I was like, I'll deal with all that later. And so I think it took me a while to understand or think about how I would want to parent kids, and that I didn't have to parent them the way that I was parented growing up. And so that took me a while to like think through, and because I just had never put any thought into it, and I just thought I'll just do it however comes naturally. Well, like however came naturally is how my parents would have parented me. So like spanking for me, right? Like I got spankings growing up and stuff like that. My brothers did. And we spanked our oldest for the first year or two?
It was like the first year. Well, not even the first year because like nothing happens.
Right. But
so
I mean, like I guess the idea in my head was like, yeah, I'm okay spanking my kids, or I will spank my kids if I need to, like the first couple of years of our oldest. And I think I can count on my hand how many times I have spanked him. It's like twice in his entire life. And they count it too. Like, you spanked me, and stuff like that. And so I always think through that. And it's still a journey for me, I think, as a parent to continue to modify my parenting based off of like what I'm seeing, the individualities off of my kids. We got some really good advice, or you did, and then told me about it. So I got advice is that, you don't have to parent all of your kids the same exact way, right? Like some are going to be more just emotional in general. Some are just going to be less emotional, and you can parent the way that you need, like an individualized care package for that child. Some, it may be that you just deepen your voice a little bit and boom. Yeah. Like Penguin, I don't know, you weren't there, but I was like putting him to bed and he just was like going crazy, like rolling around. He has a bunk bed with his older brother and he was throwing things at Panda, like cars, and like, I was like, okay. So I got my dad voice and I was like, stop it. Get in bed. He like melted down and he got in bed and like, so, anyway, I just, that was coming to mind to share that experience of like, as the longer I am a parent and the more I try to think through it and stuff, I feel a bit of a freedom and like I can change the way that I parent, and it doesn't have to be the way that I grew up or the way that I was parented.
I mean, that's very true. Yeah. When I first, my kids were little, I parented the way I was known, spankings and making sure they do their homework, going to school, all this stuff. I was on it. And then I'm like, I don't have to be my parents. Like, I literally don't have to be my parents. My kids didn't grow up the way I grew up. Like, they didn't have that strictness that I had, being just very Indian. So I was like, yeah, you learn as the more kids you get. Like, I'm super lax with my youngest one because he's a really good kid. I don't need to be as strict as I do with my older one. And my kids hate that. They're like, why is all the younger kids being,
why does he get whatever he wants?
Right.
Like the older kids would come to us and be like, hey, you remember that gangster that was our parents? Can you please bring that one back? Because what are these kids doing? Like, they would literally come in our room like, shoot, twice a month. Be like, hey, I need you to revert because damn straight acting a fool and I can't deal with it.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of pivoting when it comes to being a parent.
But that's a nice thing because if I always say like any advice I would give to any parent is like being okay with pivoting. Yeah. Because like we said, like we thought we were going to be spanking all of our kiddos, and then once we realized like we don't have to. Like even now, like at least for me, I knew that eventually we'd get to an age that you can't spank your kids.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We all know this. Especially growing up in Caribbean households, you get to an age that you can't spank your kids. Your kids also know that you can't spank them, right? And so then what do you have then? What type of relationship, what type of bond have you like fostered to get them to want to listen to you that you don't have to spank them? Because you got the point now you can't spank them, and so you need them to get to like listen to you or do what you want them to do. And if you start at an early age, why are you smiling like this?
I'm just thinking through my mom. It don't matter how old you are. I can whoop you.
I mean, yes, I will threaten my kids.
The whole time you're talking, that's playing through my head of like my parents being like,
I brought you
don't
into
care
this
how
world,
old
I can
you are.
take you out.
Yes. So.
But I mean, that was the thing for me. I just knew you were going to get to, I remember my dad used to spank me.
Yours is way more reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, yours is way more logical. And be like, yeah, like I'm not going to be spanking Panda when he's 35 and married. And like,
Imagine. Like, what would that do to the grandkids? Like, seeing their dad, they're like, "I'm sorry." Okay. But like, when the older kids would come to me and be like, "Bro, they're going crazy." I mean, now like I open the door and I'm like,
It's
And
a
I don't know what
voice.
it means everything, and I'm not saying anything, and it's like,
And they
and
get
everybody
it.
stops. So I do like the people's eyebrow, or
It's like, you need to be
Yeah.
okay. I'm
or
on it.
I have no idea what's happening. I just like open the door, hey, and then I guess
Everything's
You get
fixed.
the deer in the headlights.
yeah.
It's like, we didn't do it.
So I want to pivot a little bit and talk about self-care because you recently got a mommy makeover and you look so good. Like y'all, look, I love that face. Look, you look so. I thought you looked good before. I saw you were
You
talking
and me
about.
too. Okay, I'm sorry.
I thought the
Go
same
ahead.
thing because when you said, "Oh, I'm gonna go get this stuff," I was like, "Why? Like, you look so good for having so many kids. Like, not like I'll take that back. It wasn't like you look so good for having so many kids. You look good." So I was like, "Why would she get all this work done? Like, I don't think she needs it." But even afterwards, I'm like, "You look good before. You look really good now." And I want to just talk about self-care. What made you decide to get one? Because I'm thinking about doing some work. What made you think about getting it? What made you decide on what you were going to do? Because I'd love to just hear more.
Yeah, definitely. So the very first thing I got done is a breast augmentation. I got that done in 2019. Now, I breastfed all 8 of my children and lost a lot of weight. So very deflated, just self-conscious about it. Couldn't wear the clothes I wanted to wear. So I was like, you know what? That's the first step. Let me go ahead and do that. So it was the best decision. Like, I am super happy with it. Then I decided I wanted to get a tummy tuck. I didn't get it done because the scar and the belly button, I just didn't find the right doctor. I had a lot of loose skin, pregnant 9 times, stretches out like, pregnant for 11 years on and off, 12 years on and off, and that does hell to your skin. So I wanted to get all that taken off. As much as I worked out, I couldn't tighten it. I always felt like I looked pregnant after I ate because of all the muscle separation. So I was like, let me do this for me because, I want to feel good about myself. I mean, I've already had all my kids. There's nothing, I wanted to just do it for myself. And so, yeah, I got a tummy tuck.
And kudos to you. Like, that's good.
So, yeah, I had liposuction done on my back and then a tummy tuck with muscle tightening.
How was like the recovery process from that?
So the recovery was actually pretty easy. I thought it would be a lot harder for me, but I think maybe having all the kids and my pain tolerance being high, it was actually pretty easy. I was walking around within a week, and yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Wow.
She's a G. I'm not even. Hold on. How do we? No cap. She's a G. So I want to say the first day, because I was there, of course. She was out of it, but the very next day, she was doing a little bit better. I didn't brush her hair properly that day, so she, everything was, everybody was recording. Then we were looking at the recording. She's like, "You let me in front of those people like that?" I'm like, She always looks beautiful to me, so it wasn't out of spite, Okay, but I want to say the very next day, like day 3, she was good, and then a week later, she's over there. She did a sundress reel.
I remember that.
Sunday, Monday, like she did that, and she was still recovering, but she was walking around like she didn't even get anything. So I'm like,
I mean,
yo.
everybody's different when it comes to recovery, but I think my recovery went pretty well. So I can't really complain about it.
I've been telling Drew I've been wanting to get the same thing. I've nursed all of our kiddos, and it takes a lot out of you, especially like same thing, volume. Everything just like I don't even know if I want to go down a bunch of sizes, but because right now I'm like 36 age, and I'm like I think I would like be okay with going right back to where I was, like a triple D.
Yeah.
Being happy with that, just like a little bit of a lift because it just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't look the same thing.
Yeah.
I feel like everything just doesn't look how I want it to look when I'm wearing clothes.
Yeah.
And so I've always thought about it, and I'm like, we're getting close to being done, and I'm like, I want to start thinking about the next step. So watching your journey has like, okay, seeing all the stuff, like, because it's scary. Like if you don't know what to happen, like you don't know what's gonna happen, you don't know what other people have gotten done, and I love this like. I love where we're at in society where we're freely talking about it. Because back in the day, it would have been like, what are you talking about?
Taboo. Yeah.
Just go away for the weekend and come
And then
back
come
all
back, you're all snatched up.
We're going to Mexico.
Did you? Wait,
No,
I didn't.
no,
I did not go to
I'm glad y'all made it back.
No, my doctor was in California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was like really easy just from Vegas to.
Yeah, it was about 4 hours, I want to say.
Oh, we drove the first time, huh?
Yeah, we drove over there.
Yeah.
We stayed for like 3 days, did my post-op, and then drove back home. And then I started flying.
What other self-care things did you change, like when you started that journey?
I think as my kids got older, I realized I need to take care of myself more. Because, you get to a point in motherhood where you're just like, ugh, my kids matter the most. Forget about me.
Oh,
So I got sick of that. When I had my last child, I finally had my tubal ligation because I was like, my body can't handle having any more kids. So after that, started working out, started taking care of myself more. And then after, I want to say the youngest went off to kindergarten, I was like, okay, I have 8 hours or 7 hours a day to myself. So finally started taking care of myself, getting my nails done, doing my hair, my makeup, Before that, I was like plain Jane, not caring. Don't matter if I go outside in a torn t-shirt, like as long as my kids are okay.
Just recently, she actually started buying stuff for herself again. Because she would go out, right? Go to the mall, fully intending to get, an outfit for herself. Would come back with stuff from Oshkosh or like all stuff for the kids. And I would be like, really? Get something for yourself.
So I know we've talked about how finances really didn't determine how many kids we have, but obviously finances does determine a lot about raising a family, even if we want, like, I get, because we both got it. What were some things that you guys have to do finance-wise to be able to accommodate like your large family? Because like I know for us, our very first year, our first home that we bought, we actually renovated our basement to become an apartment, and then we rented it out so that way we could make extra money to pay off our mortgage faster. And so Drew's really big, like a little too much obsessed with finances and budgeting, I will say, but it's really helped a lot. It's really helped a lot, I will say.
One more time.
Are you the finance
Dude, we'll talk after the cameras. It's the tried and true trope. Target. And Target. And yeah.
Well, I mean, the kids need stuff.
Yeah, but there could be a
They could get stuff from the yard sale down the road.
It is hard because I try so hard. You don't even understand.
Yeah.
Not to buy stuff, but it's like every single day
sorry.
they need something. No, it's not that
I'm like, okay, you don't understand.
They don't. Because even you just told me that like our 11-year-old is now wearing size 9 in men's.
Yeah, and I was seeing if my shoes would fit him the other day. So
They
we're about
don't.
to be
You
we're
were
about
at
to be
12.
sharing shoes.
You were at 12.
We just went from having to buy shoes for 2 people to buy it for 1.
I mean, he bought 2 shoes for himself, ended up giving it to our son because it didn't fit him. So
See?
Yeah. 2 brand new shoes. And then they also add like 1.5 inches height to you. So he's happy.
Okay, that is one way to save. But what are some other ways that you guys what are some other ways you guys have saved, or maybe figure out ways to like make more money to accommodate, or not accommodate, to help? What's it?
Just more people. It's just more
more
people.
people to feed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we've always had, he's always had his own business, and I've always worked. So we've lived paycheck to paycheck many of years just to make ends meet. But at the end of the day, everybody got fed. So it was a hard first couple years because it's not going to be easy. Nobody's going to be making 6 figures trying to take care of a large family like very easy. We grew up, we met in high school. We had nothing. So it was very difficult. But, we persevered as far as saving and stuff. We're still working on saving. It's just still catching up on getting the kids to everything they need, saving for their college and all of that.
See,
so
what we're suffering from right now is that everyone was fed, everyone was happy, but there wasn't a lot of luxury that we could have afforded to the kids, But now, thanks to social media, we're in an era where the kids ask for an e-bike, we're like, you know what? That would be useful. Here's your e-bike. But
Then he said, I have a spending problem.
no. But here's the thing. Okay, America, you can get that e-bike if you set a budget, right? If this goes here, and you're like, okay, here's the extra expenses or play money. Look at that. The e-bike came out of it. We can do this and still have a fantastic budget. Now, that's for all for the kids.
Is that for 8 e-bikes though?
No.
Like, are you buying everyone an
gosh,
e-bike?
they're all getting to the age where they want their driver's license, right? And my one, she's
oh
like,
my
yeah.
goodness, how do you do that for driveway? I haven't even thought about
Dude,
that.
That's what
I'm
it
so
is.
glad you said that. She's like, you know what? We need to get this one and that one and that one, a driver's license. We can get them some hoopties. And I'm like, ma'am, do you know the neighborhood we live in? We cannot have a bunch of hoopties in the driveway. The HOA would blow up. Like,
Okay, I got a solution already. Finances, here we go. I got it.
What is it?
You buy everyone a car, and then you put them on Turo when they're not using them. There you go.
oh.
Rent them out.
That's
Rent
not.
them out.
I'm so sorry to say this. It's hard to say. That's not a bad idea.
It's not. And then they got a little business they can run themselves, and when they're not
that's
using their
actually
car, have them rent it out, and there you go. Done.
The thing is, I have some hot heads for sons. So, like, everyone thinks, man, you know, well, everyone knows me as GQ Gemini. They're like, GQ Gemini, man, you're so fun-loving and everything. I know you raise your sons to just go with the flow. No, there's some they are gay. I said I was gangster. They are. They have this term nowadays where they're like, man, I'm going to crash out. And my sons, like, they're very serious. So if you're 1 second late bringing that car back, they're coming to get it. So
I don't think they're in the best mentality for that
Yeah.
business.
Okay, maybe later.
But I kind of bring it up joking
No,
because,
no,
like,
I understand.
basically what I feel like larger families have to accommodate for is like if you have 1 or 2 kids, they're gonna most likely get their own rooms.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When you have 5 kids, like 1 of our kids or 2 of our kids are going to be sharing rooms. When we get to the point everybody's driving, we're not going to have 7 vehicles. Like somebody's going to be sharing
That's
a
what-
vehicle
But
somewhere.
technically,
Like
if we
they're
just
going to have to.
build the driveway that we need,
Yeah, everybody's
Yeah, if you have the
accommodated.
money to do that. But thinking financially sensible, like, you know how expensive concrete is now?
that is so cool for out here because you guys can actually like build something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? In Vegas, you like they give you what you what you can like what you have. It's like this is your driveway. Do not extend it. You can't do anything with it.
Yeah, buying land out
Make
there
sure it's
is like-
pretty. Like
Yeah.
we can't do anything with it. That's why like I really feel like Vegas isn't going to be our forever city because we want to build a compound. You know, we want to like. There's things now that's going to come to fruition. Like we can actually buy land. You know,
I'm just telling you, Georgia's real nice.
I do gotta say, you guys keep your freeways very well manicured and kept up because it's pretty. Then, well, once you, I'm not talking bad about Atlanta. Once you get out of Atlanta, like everything is like well manicured.
No, there's
and
places you
green
go.
and-
Like we lived in Pennsylvania for a while, and their roads were terrible. And I'm sure it's the ice and salt and just winters they go through. But like
Yeah.
you could not drive without like bouncing
Yeah.
around because all the potholes and like I haven't seen roads that rough
since
then.
And we love Pennsylvania. It's probably one of it's like our top 3 states that we've lived in. But the roads were just not it. So Atlanta is great. The roads are nice. They're not very organized well. That's why we have horrible traffic here.
Yeah.
And so you're on it for a while, so you better like it. But yeah, we love. I mean, especially like north of Atlanta, we absolutely love. Like it's so pretty. I like it. I like how it's a lot cheaper than a lot of other states, and so it has been a lot nicer.
Also, I'm going to throw a pitch in for Georgia. You have mountains in Georgia. You have a beach in Georgia. You have city life. Then you have the country. So you got everything.
I mean,
Whatever
we
you're
were
into.
looking into moving to Atlanta a few years ago. I don't know what happened.
The only thing you're missing is like the peach and then the Georgia symbol.
Exactly. Hello, my name is Drew. I'm here to sponsor Georgia.
Brought to you by the Georgia Travel Commission.
Yeah.
Well, it has been been so nice getting to know you. I would love for everyone to be able to follow you in your journey. So where can they find you?
So I'm on all social media platforms at MZ Kora. So MZKORA.
I'm tagging along. You'll see me GQ Gemini. Just type in GQ Gemini and you'll see me twerking.
And that's not a lie.
So they can find you on YouTube,
I'm on
Instagram.
Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I think that's it.
Same thing with me.
And we'll make sure that we tag them in the description so you guys can find them and follow them. I'm telling you guys, you're gonna love them. It's been so nice getting to chat with you.
This was
You guys
fun.
are
Yes,
so
thank
much
you,
fun to
guys.
hang out with. I'm excited. I'm so sad that you guys can't have lunch with us afterwards because, yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about food. How's that song go? Big bag, big bag, big bag.
Oh man.
But
Well,
yeah,
thank
I
you
had a lot
guys
of
so
fun
much.
being here.
You're
So thank
so
you so much
welcome.
for
Thank you
inviting
guys
us.
for coming. It really means a lot because this has been a long flight for y'all.
Yeah.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.